Today, I want to talk more about a thread I introduced in the XLM and XRP video from yesterday, which I will link in the description. But there is a lot of tie-in between XLM, IBM, and SHX as well, which is Stronghold. And this is a thing that I really haven't learned about until the last month or so, when I have really began to look much farther into XLM and XRP and how much they really do tie together, that I have known for a long time, but I didn't ever really investigate it as much as I have over the last month or so now. So this is a token project and a company that I have a lot of interest in now, and I will probably be purchasing at least some SHX here soon as well. But I want to break down this introduction that kind of ties into the map that I showed in the past, and I explained about how XLM and SHX can actually be the framework for a CBDC as well, and I will link that in the video below, and I'll also include one about what Stronghold is actually trying to do with SHX in terms of cross-border payments, and just trying to revolutionize the retail payment end of things as well, to have people move away from working with credit card companies that can get pretty expensive. So this thread is from Charlie Crypto of 3N. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's is introducing how XLM, IBM, and SHX actually work together, and it includes a little bit more information than I have explained in the past as well. So Stronghold and IBM have been collaborating together on the Stronghold USD, which is a stablecoin that has been introduced into IBM's World Wire network, which is from Sean Bennett, who is the co-founder and CTO of Stronghold. And if you look into this page, I don't think that link is a direct link, but if you poke around on the IBM site, here is an article from Sean back in 2019, and he is just explaining that they want to extend banking to underserved populations, which ties in to what SDF has recently really rebranded to, even though they've always kind of concentrated on that cross-border payment space. They have really revamped their brand and their marketing around the financial inclusion, and now they are on the World Economic Forum's committee for something humanitarian something, and they are the only blockchain company in there. So in short, XLM has been essentially chosen by the World Economic Forum, which I believe is an indication of how they will succeed as we progress into a cryptocurrency concentrated financial technology and financial services industry change as well. So their core product is actually a USD pegged coin that is backed 1-to-1 against the actual USD by, by cash. The only thing is that it's algorithmically synced, which I know that there have been some algorithmic stable coins in the past, and those have not performed very well. So I do want to learn a little bit more about that, but I think it's a pretty good introduction here. It also calls out IBM World Wire as well, which we have shown how that is utilizing the XLM network to conduct all of its transactions. So if we go into the next thing, it will utilize the XLM network, which uses XLM as a bridge currency, essentially a unit of value for transfer of value and transaction cost calculations. And this article is here. And it is basically saying that IBM World Wire just operates on XLM. So we designed the original IBM World Wire to reduce the cost and friction in cross-border payments. So here is that line. All money transactions in the XLM network occur in the form of credit issued by anchors. So anchors act as a bridge between existing currency and the XLM network. And these anchors are entities that the network participants trust to hold their deposits and issue credits into the XLM network for those deposits. The credit issuance implies digital obligates which need to be settled out of band via traditional rails, for example. The whole idea is to provide a choice in the network for anchors to issue credits or stablecoin for instant settlement, which just makes the transactions a lot quicker. Right, we go back to the thread here. IBM partners Stronghold for a new digital coin. So, which is from 2018. So it's not new news, but the thing about Stronghold, the company, and the SHX token as well, which I will expand upon the price potential at the end of this, which I think it has a lot. But the interesting thing here is, as I've touched on in the past as well, it is so the Stronghold USD coin will deposit cash with the company's partner bank, Nevada-based Prime Trust. Now, if you recall, when Ripple announced that they would acquire Fortress Trust, which they are no longer pursuing, but they will remain an investor and I'm assuming a partner to a certain extent. But the interesting thing is that their CEO was the CEO of Prime Trust until 2020. So there's obviously at least some amount of indirect connection in between XLM, IBM, Stronghold, and Ripple as well with XRP. So I have talked about that in the past, so I won't go too far into that today, but it's just another example of how all of this public information really tie XLM and XRP together. And once you get IBM in there with WorldWire and the Hyper Ledger as well, then you're connected to XDC, Quant, HBAR, Casper, Algo, LCX. I mean, so many of the projects that actually have real use cases that once we get regulatory clarity, which will open up enterprise adoption, those projects will be able to have a much larger potential to increase in value and therefore increase in price as well. So the next one is an announcement from Business Wire, which is this one that Stronghold launches the first venture-backed USD token on the XLM network, and this is from 2018 as well. But it is just again re-explaining that the Stronghold USD token is a one-to-one USD pegged coin held by a chartered trust, which is Prime Trust. The interesting thing here is that Stronghold, the actual company, got venture capital funding from Freestyle Capital, which at that time made it the first venture capital USD token, at least on the XLM chain. But it's not really introducing a lot of new information here. It's just kind of a normal press release, and it just explains enough about everything and ties in the financing side, which I'm not exactly a finance guy, so I won't try to pretend as if I know. But from Investopedia here, IBM launches the Stronghold USD coin backed by FDIC-insured banks. So again, that is just showing that XLM and Stronghold in particular are being supported by the right kinds of organizations. So it's not like it's not as if they're just an upstart trying to introduce some new crypto project. They have gone where the existing financial infrastructure is, all of those connections, power, and investment capacity, and they have created this all with the support of the financial system that they are not necessarily trying to replace, but they are trying to provide their financial infrastructure to. Because I don't think we will see the vast majority of the current major financial institutions out there actually get killed off by crypto. I think that these big institutions, they're so well connected, not just in a economic capacity, but in a political capacity as well. It is very hard to kill those things, even if there is a much more efficient option out there. So I don't think it'll be replacement. I think it'll end up more of an adoption kind of a change. So this is just explaining that it is backed by FDIC insured banks. It does actually call out Ripple here as well. Unlike Ripple, which has forged alliance with banking institutions, XLM enables transfers within developing economies. That's, I would say, just a matter of what their primary concentration is, but Ripple and XRP have done that as well, especially with the Japanese bank SBI and their remittance program over there to, what was it? Vietnam, Thailand, and maybe another country, but it's not only XLM in that space. So yeah, it's a lot of words here without a ton of information, so I'll just kind of skip on through that. But if you go on to this PDF here, it is explaining what the actual Stronghold USD token is. And honestly, I can probably turn this into a entire video with the amount of information in here. But as you're able to see, it clearly shows why they chose to use the XLM network as well. So I can expand upon this later, especially because I have learned a lot about how Tether probably isn't exactly as how do I say it, as compliant as a lot of people probably think and hope it is, because that's probably what's really propping up the price of a lot of the crypto market right now. But I will expand upon this probably tomorrow, so I think that would be a worthwhile piece of information. Uh, IBM backs FDIC insured Stronghold. This is the updated one. So it was backed by Signature Bank, which I believe, since this article was written in what was it, 20? I don't know why it's so hard to find times and dates on articles now. Okay, so it was updated in 2018. So Signature Bank is one of the banks that has had a lot of problems over the last 6 months or so, and they decided to go with Prime Trust instead, which again is probably a good thing for me and you who are interested in XLM and XRP because of the more or less indirect connection to Ripple through the ex Prime Trust CEO. So I don't know how much of a connection that actually is, but just with my experience in the financial services industry, who you know is extremely valuable, especially at that height. So we're kind of wrapping this up here and ending up in price. So this is some click that I got out of that thread, which actually isn't helpful. But what I want to really talk about is the price action and price potential of XLM and SHX as well. So if you go back to 2021 for XLM, we were sitting at about 8 cents before the 2021 bull run, and at the end of 20, XLM and XRP were both beginning to pump, and then that XRP lawsuit came out, but we had a bull run anyway, and we went all of the way up to I think it was about 77 cents on a lot of exchanges, but we haven't really had any good price action since then. If you look at the more recent price action, which this is the weekly, so if I expand it into daily and adjust my scale here, XLM was actually looking like it had a potential to increase again, but with the DXY increasing, there's some price action that hasn't necessarily been in our favor. However, I'm not really worried about the price of things like XRP, XLM, HBAR, XDC, Casper. All of those kinds of things for me right now are an opportunity to just accumulate a lot more, because I have seen how valuable they really are, and how valuable that the work they have done and the partnerships that they have already gotten into are positioning them to be very valuable, especially once we get regulatory clarity, which will open up the way for enterprise adoption. I can't say when it'll happen, but I'm thinking that the next true bull run will happen sometime in 2024 after the Bitcoin halving, and hopefully by then we can get some regulatory clarity, which can unlock an additional bull run for the utility projects that we are primarily interested in as well. So I don't really have a lot of interesting information on XLM right now. The MACD is beginning to move back towards positive, but it's still at a pretty low end. Our RSI is still at a pretty strong number, indicating that there is more buying interest in it at this point. If it ends up here over 70 again, then it will be more likely to come back down. But It doesn't really look as if a lot's happening on the daily, and then on the weekly, it's not really looking that great either. Your RSI is heading down, your MACD is heading down, so I would expect it to hang out in this 10 to 12 cent range for quite a while. Now, if we go to SHX, the chart here on TradingView looks absolutely horrible. If you change it to log scale, then it looks a little better with some more actual action and some more clear trends. But we've been hanging out at this point, what, 0.00046 cents mark for a long time. And there's not really anything to me that looks great on there. However, if you go into coin market cap and you find all of its price history, so it goes all the way back to February of 2019. And then if you go to just before the 2021 bull run hit, it went from 0.003 cents all of the way up to about about 3.1 cents here, and about 3.2 cents here. So it did a little over 100x twice within this last run. So, and then if you look at it a little bit more, you can, and particularly in the log scale as well. And if you look, we are pretty much holding the same point now, just before it had this huge run up. And overall, we are holding a higher low than we did before the last bull run as well. So in my opinion, I don't think that SHX has anything to really worry about, even though its price action has been horrible for just about, I don't know, almost a year and a half now. But I'm not really worried about that. I know that a lot of people on Twitter especially have been really upset with a lot of altcoin prices over the last few months, but I think a lot of people are just beginning to get impatient, and in my opinion, that's a really good sign that we are very close to the inflection point at the bottom of the curve, and it's only up from here. Now, if anything else big happens, like if Tether crashes or if something weird happens, then we could see a very sharp downturn in the entire crypto market. But as long as we don't have anything huge and unforeseen happen, then I do think that it's all up from here, and right now is probably the best time to get into a lot of our favorite alt projects. But of course, that's not financial advice, because that's just what I am doing with this information, and you can choose to do whatever you want.